One. Welcome to the music podcast. We have Redhead Mack on again. Kevin, come on. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're very, very well. We're very
Very well.
have you on. We start every podcast with over and underrated. I'm gonna name some bands. You guys can tell me if they're overrated, underrated, or maybe
Oh man,
rated fine. The first band is the Rolling Stones.
I think they deserve their, I don't know, like they're, I sound like an old guy. They earned their way. Okay. But I think that like now, if that's all you're listening to, you got to start listening to more music.
So
I think they're probably underrated nowadays.
For a bunch of guys that age to bounce around on stage like that still.
Yeah, pretty incredible. But like not many people, like younger people, like they'll know who the Rolling Stones are, but they're not like listening to the Stones all the time. So, they
well, you see that it's young people wearing Rolling Stones t-shirts, and I think you've never heard any of their music, surely.
Oh no, that's not true though, is it? Because you always do that. That's the worst thing to be, is one of them guys. It's like you've never even listened to the band. It's like, yeah, they probably have, but
Yeah. Right, next one, Nirvana.
That was a slow grow for me. I didn't like him at first. And then as I got more into the writing, I became a fan. I'd say that they're about evenly rated.
Yeah, fairly rated.
You know,
um, uh,
Well, I've stumped you here. Normally you're straight in.
it's because
as a musician, I'm always like scared to do that. I don't want to, it's like, well, those guys, and then they hear you and go, well, fine, you're overrated too. Sorry.
I think I'm safe on this one. I don't think Kurt Cobain's listening, so I think I'll be all right. So, I'd probably say, oh, I'm just debating whether I say overrated, and I just don't think I can do it. Rated fine, rated fine. There we go.
Foo Fighters.
Overrated.
Love Foo Fighters.
Overrated, Tom. No.
I agree, even though I love them. They're really good, but I think that they got more famous than somebody else of that skill set would have if he hadn't been in Nirvana, I think. Not that they don't deserve to be really well known, but they're probably a step up from where they would be by their nature of their actual music.
I have a controversial on Foo Fighters where I love the music. I love the Foo Fighters.
Yeah. So do I, but
But I've never had an album that I like every song to.
no.
It's quite controversial. Where there'll be like two or three I think are brilliant, and then a lot of filler. And I don't know if I'm really like controversial in saying that, or Foo Fighter fans would agree. I don't know.
I think that's probably the exact reason I probably would say they're overrated. I think like a lot of bands fall into that trap where they can make a huge sounding big song, like an anthem, but they can't do the rest of it, you know? And that's not a problem. I mean, if you're playing huge arenas and you've got, hours worth of anthem after anthem after anthem, then great. But, sometimes it just doesn't translate for music reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see that. I, I'm in that position now where we did that first killer album with the band, and I love that the band can go so big. At the same time, as we're going forward in writing, we're trying to not only do like full on powerful rock songs. We want to have some range, but they're not as much fun to write.
Hmm. Interesting, really interesting to think about. My last band I'm going to throw you guys is The Strokes.
I love the Strokes. I think they're underrated. They should be bigger and more famous than they are.
That's a great point. It's a great point.
I agree. Completely agree.
Wow. Okay, so that was an easy one though for all of us.
Oh, there's a cat on the screen. Oh,
So next, I want to go straight into Redhead Mac and deep dive into kind of where you're going and what you're doing. Let's go back to the original story. How did the band form?
Um, Way back, I played bass with piles of bands in Vancouver, and I'd started writing. So initially, what Redhead Mack was a side project where I would pull a bunch of friends, usually different people every time, and do some of my own songs. And then when my wife and I moved from Vancouver to Calgary in Canada, a move, um, I started doing it as a serious thing and finding people to be in my band. But it was fairly folky leaning. I played acoustic guitar. It was there was some rock element to it, but it was still definitely leaning on your sort of folk roots stuff. And then COVID, I got stuck at home. Um, and I started messing around with electric guitar, which I'd always had. And I, man, fell hard in love with it. Just loved the electric and all the things it could do. It was a deep dive. Over the course of about 10 months in COVID, I probably had 18 different guitars because I go, let's try it. That's almost what I want. Not quite. And I'd rotate through and stuff like that. So, and then I just found the guys that I knew from other things. And we had so much fun rocking out in the middle of COVID. Every time we got a chance to get together with people again, we would burn up all that anger.
Was it hard to find the right people to fit in your bands? Is it something where instantly first session you know it's going to work, or is that something that's a bit of an evolution finding people that's gonna fit?
So I mean, that's it's always hard to find people, and it's not hard to find people that are pretty good. I've had lots of members of the band over the years, and they've all been fine. They've all been great, nice people. But this combo of guys was absolute fluke. Lee, my lead guitarist, who can shred like a monster, played with me in an earlier version of the band, so we were way folkier, and he was holding back a lot. Um, my bass player, I just knew through friends at church, and he came along. I was at a friend's and he said, "No, we should try this." And he came out and played. And he brought the drummer who I met when I first moved to Calgary. And as soon as the four of us played together, it was like click, everything just locked. It was so cool.
Love that. I do feel like it is based on feelings sometimes, isn't it? Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know, your head can say one thing, your heart say something, but your gut will never lie to you. So understanding that and knowing that, I think is really important. Obviously, from the genre of rock and the music you create is fantastic. But what does that genre mean to you? And why do you think it resonated with you so deeply that now transforms into your audience?
Um, th- we do have some range. We do some songs that are like more quiet and harmonies and stuff like that. But the energy, the release that comes from just throwing everything down and letting it go. Um, there's nothing like it. Rocking out as a band feels amazing. Um, when you're having that much fun on stage, it's almost impossible for the audience not to have fun as well. And so I think that's a big part of it. But I mean, songwriting as well. Like we write songs that people can relate to. We're not trying to write songs that are like, I'm the coolest dude in the world, rock. Everything we write about is relatable. So I think people like that they can just let go of stuff and rock out and have fun. So, but that actually means something.
Obviously, for Redhead Mack, people see these incredible live gigs and shows and on the road and whatnot. And it's been incredible even for me kind of seeing that, which is, it's been fantastic. But what I want to know is, what's the biggest risk you've taken in your music career, and how do you think it's shaped how you are today?
Well, going to rock was a risk because I'd established myself fairly well. I was starting to step up, the analogy of small pond, bigger pond, being the big fish in a small pond, all that stuff. I'd managed to step up a couple levels as a folky guy, and then once we started doing full on rock, there were rooms that loved us that we used to play in that we just no longer fit. So it's kind of like starting again a little bit. Um, but I figured, well, I'd rather play to a small audience that loves what I want to do now than to handicap myself by reducing my writing to fit something that I'm already comfortable with. And I keep telling other musicians I know that play country because they can market it, or it's like, if you love country, play country. If you love punk, play punk. You won't make any money, probably, but you'll have way more fun. Play the music that's in your heart. And for me right now, this is where my heart is. So I think I have to do it this way.
Incredible, absolutely brilliant. So I know you have some questions as well, if you want to jump in.
Yeah, of course.
Fan question.
Yeah. So like I guess I'm really interested in for yourself, I think like you mentioned about how like you moved and you managed to start finding people and recruiting sort of people into your projects and everything you're doing. Um, for any like young musicians, maybe solo musicians that are out there, is there anything that you found that works if they're trying to sort of do the same thing and maybe they're, you know, in their bedroom, they're writing songs at the moment, they think, oh, I want this with a band. Any advice to them going out there and finding other musicians?
Absolutely. Find people you like first. Even if you get like four friends and none of you play stinking anything, but you buy instruments and you sit with people that you get along with and figure it out, you'll get better way faster than trying to find the best players that you don't jive with at all.
Mm.
That's just my background. I mean, some people, I guess if you got money to throw at it, you can just hire bands, but it's way, way more satisfying to find people that you actually like and get along with and make music cooperatively.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, making the sort of real connection. You're going to want to go and write together with your friends. You're
Yeah.
going to do stuff outside. You're going to have those like shared experiences with each other, which I think is what counts.
Yeah. You're motivated to practice because you all have the same goal.
Yeah,
Let's freaking make this awesome, right? So you have that goal. So, you know, when somebody writes a song and you know where the guitar should go, but your hands don't do that yet, you sit at home for 3 weeks going, and figure it the hell out because you need it to work,
yeah,
right? Because you're motivated rather than sitting idly doing the same things over and over again because you just kind of conceptually like the idea of playing guitar.
mm,
It's far more motivating to have a musical goal that you're working on with your friends.
yeah, absolutely. And when you're writing music, do you find sort of a more collaborative approach helps yourself, or do you sort of just lock in and say, I've got these ideas that I want to work on, or how does that work for yourself?
For me, I am primary writer, but I really want everyone to be involved and if anything comes from this, like everyone in the band is equal credit on the songs. If
Mm,
I ever make any money from the songs, everyone in the band will equally get paid because I can't do it without them. Even though I do a lot of the melody and words and stuff. Um, like some of our better songs lately have come from my bass player riffing something. We all build off of that, and then I just add in, words or find a melody or that kind of stuff. So I'm largely doing the main writing, but we're still writing collaboratively. And sometimes I bring an idea in, let's do this song. Sometimes somebody jams something, we turn it into a song, and I
mm.
find words or that kind of stuff. We a lot of different angles, but it's very collaborative and cooperative.
That's amazing. Yeah. And so when your writing process, because I know musicians that will, when they're writing, they'll get into a studio or they'll get into a situation where they're like, okay, now I can sit down with like some instruments and write and won't be able to do anything. And then there's others that are like, yeah, and they'll go and they'll say, actually, the best ideas hit when I'm, on an aeroplane or something like that. Is quite a common one. What works well for yourself? Is that
Yep.
you're always in the studio or far away from it?
No, I most of my writing comes from conversations with people. Anything lyrical is usually built off of, somebody says a thing or I'm talking with somebody about something and somebody phrases something a certain way and I go, ooh, can I use that? And they're like, sure, whatever, but that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Or
just taking a second. I just need to write that down. Yeah.
exactly. Or if we're doing like if I'm writing a song that totally is just built off a riff that my bass player wrote, for example, then my writing might be completely different because I'm trying to I have a message in my head of what I want the song to be about, but it has to fit into the timing of whatever he was playing. So it changes the way I approach the writing. But it's all like I very rarely sit and write. Most of my writings out in the world, I write down a thing, and then later on, when I'm playing around with the guitar, I go, "Oh yeah," and I'll flesh it out. But
Yeah.
I write a lot.
Yeah. A lot of people do. I think that's part of it, isn't it? So many people just write so much, and that's such a good way to approach it because a lot of stuff it won't ever get past the cutting floor, and I just want to touch some very yeah, absolutely. Um, I just want to touch as well on what you sort of said about, people saying like, oh, I'm doing country at the minute and I'm trying to focus on that because that's where the market is and stuff like that. And I just want to touch back to
Yeah.
what you'd said about sort of just doing what you love. And I guess that's such an important thing of like, if you want to make punk music, because like, as you
Yeah.
said, like, do what you want, don't try and do it for the money. Because I mean, let's be honest, most artists out there in the world aren't going to make a killing from it no matter what they do. So yeah,
Some labels will go, we want you to make this type of music. Try. It's all great to experiment, but stick to what you're passionate about. I think such a key message.
I think that's such an important message to give to any artist.
Well, one of the cool things, the cool things I'm seeing with young people is they're a little bit less genre tied. They're a little bit more willing to have a wider range.
Yeah,
I think that's good.
I think that's great. I think there's so many, the young artists especially that just don't care about, oh, I'm going to be in a
Yeah.
rock band.
What do you
or I'm
play?
gonna be
Music.
yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's a good place to be really because it opens so many doors to like creativity. There's ideas that I'm sure there's musicians in there that are like, oh, I'm in a rock band. I really want to do this, but because I'm in a rock band, I can't do that. Like if you just get rid of that, you're just always going to discover something that's in the middle somewhere, which is amazing.
Right, guys, we're going to move on.
Sorry,
We're going to look into some of the major headlines that's happened this week. Taylor Swift has scored her 15th US #1 album with record-breaking sales. Any shock there? I'm not sure. Tame Impala previews a new track at Mexico City's DJ set. So Kevin Parker of Tame Impala previewed a new techno-influenced track titled Not My World during a DJ set in Mexico. And Radiohead are sending out more unlock codes for 2025 UK and European tour, which will get people tickets to their shows. Quite an interesting little marketing mix on that. We've got some fan questions come in for Tom this week. Tom, what's one thing you've bought but never used?
Oh,
Could be quite a lot, to be honest.
yeah, that's you've opened a can of worms. I bought that Fender Jaguar a while ago, and I haven't used it as much as I should. That's probably.
Can I buy that off you? How much do you want for that? That's on my dreams.
It's not for sale.
Never used them. It's not for sale.
It's gonna be.
Yeah. Sell it. You'll think, oh, I should use that for this. Oh,
Just you wait until I sit down with it. The tune that's gonna come out of that. It's good time.
you got to go sit right after this session. You're going to go sit down with it now.
Yeah, exactly. Just to prove to Josh I don't have to sell it to him.
Exactly.
Tom, what would you do first if you won the lottery?
What would I do first? I'd probably quit my job. Would I? I don't know. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Depends how much you want, I guess.
Yeah, I've won the lottery, but I've only won 100 quid.
I quit.
And my last one here is, if you could live in any movie, what would it be? Cool, that is a tough question.
I live in any movie.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? The Ryan Gosling film Drive. I think that would be the one.
Such like a bleak, such a strange one to choose.
Just
Boy. Notting Hill. Not because it's a great movie, but because I want to live in a place where I can go through winter by walking down the street and it's done. That's what I want.
I promise you, nowhere in the UK is like that, really.
I know. I've been to Notting Hill. It's not like that at all.
Okay, we're going to move on now to Tom Westwell's music quiz. Tom, talk to us. How's it working this week?
I've got the return of the much loved lyric quiz. So I'm gonna read out a lyric, and it is open fire. So either of you can shout out the answer. Shout out the answer. You get a point if you guess the song title, and you get a point if you guess the artist.
I'm so dead if I didn't write it. Okay.
Okay. Song number 1. There's something wrong with the world. Today, I don't know what it is.
Recognize that. I really recognize
Aerosmith.
It is Aerosmith.
It's the song. I don't know the song title. If I could start singing it, it would come. Wrong in the world today. I don't know what it is. Living on the Edge.
Correct. 2 early points for Kevin there.
Got it.
Yep. Song number 2. We Don't Need No Education.
Pink Floyd. Oh yeah, free.
Yeah, I'll give that to Josh there. Yeah.
Yeah, he got it.
I become so numb, I can't feel you there.
Nope. Familiar, but no
In
idea.
the end,
Nope.
what am I thinking of? Oh, you're really stumping me. Is there any more? Or is it just for me cutting it at that lyric?
That's all I got for you.
Nope, I don't got it.
Can you do like a little hum with it? Like, can you put it into like a?
Can you play the guitar solo?
If I was just doing it, it'd be like dun 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 dun. I've probably just butchered that.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's Numb by Linkin Park.
Oh my, mate! I was actually about to say that. You jumped in right when I was coming for it.
I didn't have it at all. Nope, not a clue.
Number 4. Just a small town girl living in a lonely
World. That is
Train.
late night train journey. No, what's it called?
Journey. Messenger.
Your best.
Journey. It is Journey. Point to Josh. We got the title of the song.
I can sing it. I can't remember the title of it.
So is the answer.
On and on and on and on.
Passenger.
Late night strangers, up and down the boulevard. There's
Is that song?
Nope, I don't have the title in my head.
Yeah, you're also
I can tell you the whole thing.
Don't Stop Believing by Journey. So I'll give a point to Josh because I did hear him call out Journey there. So it's current like Kevin is the 80.
First.
Kevin is leading 3-2. So the final question in this quiz is still all to play for.
We're so not impressive. I'm sorry. I should know all these, but
And the stars look very different today.
the Beatles, and it is.
It's not. It's not the
It's
Beatles.
not the Beatles?
No.
Okay.
I want you to think of outer space.
Oh yeah. It's Billy of David Bowie Space Oddity.
Correct. Smash that. Kevin, I'm very happy to say you're the winner there. That's 5 points to you and only 2 to Josh. But
Landslide.
yeah, landslide. You don't win a prize, but you get a congratulations. So that's the
I get slagged a little bit less in the comments. That's all.
that's it exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know that song. It's one of the best songs in the world. You should know all the songs.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Okay, right. We're going to go into our music marketing genius of the week, and it's Luke Combs. He's got My Kind of Saturday Night Tour. Now, the country music star Luke Combs announced his 2026 tour featuring 16 dates across North America and Europe, including a major stadium show at Edinburgh's Makefield Stadium. But the tour was promoted through the release of his new singles, and this mix of excitement for the tours, but also pushing the new songs. I mean, it's done incredibly well when tickets did go live, which has been absolutely fantastic. And the promotion has been very, very good, as you'd expect.
That's brilliant.
But we want to come back to you now, Redhead Mack, and go for your bits to finish up on. Was one music melody you've always wanted to try, but haven't attempted yet?
I would love to do the full rock band with horns and choir, but still rock band, not like folky or not playing symphonic music, playing guitar driven rock with horns, and a little bit like what they do for Trans-Siberian Orchestra, but a little step away from the orchestral, a little bit more into them backing up full stadium rock thing. I think it could be really awesome. It might fall awful. It might be terrible, but I have the feeling it could be really cool.
We need to give it.
But of course, that's a lot of people, right? So
It'd be some sound. It'd be absolutely fantastic. Is what it is. I think that'd be really incredible. Kevin, with your experience and working with a lot of musicians and being in this industry, What's one thing successful artists know that maybe startup artists or bedroom artists don't know?
The importance of being good to everyone around you. Time and time again.
Could be my favorite quote we've had in the year. Oh, excellent! We've done this pod.
I tell you the truth. I've gotten gigs over people that are musically head way above me because they have reputations for being difficult. People don't want them at their shows. I've watched people. I've got a chance to do stuff with some fairly famous people, and there's no reason why they would give me any of their time. But the people that are really, really big, always so generous with their time. They're so encouraging. They're so chill, right? I mean, I know there are famous people that are not like that, but generally, anyone who actually is established doesn't need to have an attitude. They don't need to prove themselves. They just exist at that higher plane, and it shows because they're not always battling or trying to beat anyone. They just are. So
I love
that's my goal.
that advice. In this industry, it really does come round fast. If you mistreat people or you don't show respect, it comes around. Like, you need to protect your reputation. I think it's brilliant advice, Kevin, to finish up on. What's it coming up that, we've got really dedicated, loyal fan base to tune in every single week to hear me and Tom mutter on half the time. So what's it coming on for you that our fans can get excited about?
We've got a new single we pushed out on Saturday. I'm still going to try and push to radio now, but called to Don't Tell Me Nothing. So we're pushing that out to some of the stations that have played our other stuff. So that's why I was looking for a publicist, maybe. And then we're playing some live shows here in Calgary, and writing new stuff. We're sitting together and trying to play around with some concepts that we've come up with in practice, and I record on my phone. We always go, let's try that at some point. So we're going to actually sit in the studio together and try some of them and see if we can build them. So we'll see from that. So
Incredible.
But the song, if everyone can go and listen to the song, that'd be great.
You have been told.
Don't tell me nothing.
Go and check it out. Kevin, thank you so much for coming on. Everyone, go check it out. You will not be disappointed. Tom, what do we say to everyone for listening?
Thank you, everybody, for your time. Well done for listening. It is a good achievement. And
It was our friend that listens to every episode. We need to give him a shout out.
There's somebody that listens to every episode.
We have he spoke to us last week in the fan question, and he said he's watched every single one.
yeah, his name's
That's awesome.
What's his name?
Daniel.
Hi, Daniel. 100% Daniel. Hey, Daniel.
There's no confidence in that whatsoever. But if you've been listening, Daniel, thank you.
We love Daniel. Bye and good night.